Aha! This is Laborc. These are the colors you need. We are going to slap on some Skevenblad as our first base coat. Make sure this covers very nicely. Okay? If you need to go back a couple of times, that's okay. Don't go super heavy on the paint. You dilute it with a little bit of water. Nice. After that, you mix the Skevenblad with 50-50 Administratum Grey. Okay, it's a super nice gray color. As you see, I'm using a small stippling motion. If you're not familiar with stippling, basically you just make tiny dots with your paintbrush. That way it will be easier to blend, and also we are creating texture. After you do that, we are going to blend it a bit with some glazing. 2, maybe 3 coats will do just fine. So after that, you put the final highlight, which is going to be pure Administratum Grey. And again, you try to stipple and try to pick out the parts that are facing upwards. You don't want to highlight the belly and the other parts, because that's just 100% Mickey Mouse. You don't really want to do that, okay? Look at it, it's so precise and nicely done. And the great part about stippling first and then glazing, because we are going to glaze some Administratum Grey after this step, it's going to blend in so smoothly. It's like Granny's bath. It's really nice. Okay, I forgot to put some highlights there, but I will do it now. It's again Administratum Grey. You put it on the ankle of the horse or whatever it's called. You don't want to miss out parts, and you going to see in the video that I'm missing out parts all the time, but I go back to it. And this is what life is about, to go back to things, to fix them, right? This is such a nice message, you guys. Next, we are fixing the hooves, the horse hooves. This is gonna take some pure black paint, whatever black you want to use. And then we are going to highlight that with some Skevenblad Danger. And now comes the NMM. It's a treat, or a threat. No, it's a treat. I don't know the difference. We are going for a light bluish steel look, you know. It's a bit of a classic metal look. Maybe it's not. I like it. You want to use Dark Reaper for the base color. You want to cover everything, okay? Every metal part. Okay, you guys, I'm picking out the base skin tone with Dumbo Brown. I'm only doing that to separate some sections of the model to make it more clear for myself, okay? You don't have to do this if you don't want to, it's completely fine, you can skip this part, but it's helping me when you are painting something for the first time. Okay, we need to go back to do some black lining on the armor, okay? It's not gonna be super fun, I tell you, because if you make a mistake here, like, you know, not me, but if you do any mistakes here, you need to go back and redo the base coat again. And if you make a mistake with the base coat, you have to go back to the black lining again, and it can be a little bit frustrating part, but I'm sure you will handle it just perfectly. So believe in yourself, have a nice tip, and go into the crevices with some pure black paint, okay? And the next highlight will be rust gray, and you need to use base layer consistency. So don't dilute it with so much water, it's not gonna look great, you know, or it's gonna look great, but it's gonna take you a couple of more layers, and as it is, it's gonna take some time to paint it, so let's not waste time with that, okay? So base layer consistency with rust gray. Basically what I do is just pick out random parts which I think make sense for the light. After you pick out the first highlight parts, then it's going to be nicely glazed. You can do stippling as I did here before, and it's going to help you, but with metal I don't want to create a weathered look or something. I know the model is made with scratches and stuff like that. We will deal about that later, but no need to do the stippling all the time, because we would like to create contrast, you know, not in value of the color, but on the whole model. If you stipple everything, it will probably look the same, and it will be a bit boring. We are going to use a glaze of rust gray, and we are going to glaze all the parts, all the highlight parts. And this is going to take a little bit of time, because it needs a couple of layers. You don't have to do crazy smooth, you know, because it's 38mm-ish miniature, so it's not, you can get away with being not really smooth, what I'm trying to say. But if you look at the pictures of the end result, you can see that this is kind of where we are going with it. And if you achieved it, it's very nice. If not, glaze some more. If you overdid it, try again or leave it as it is. I don't know. I'm not your father. I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not. Okay? Great. Next highlight color, it's going to be Administratum Gray. I really love that gray. So we are going to slap on some, again, base layer consistency. Okay, obviously we're picking out the parts inside the rust gray, so we're going smaller and smaller with our highlights, all right, like between Granny's butt cheeks, but that's okay. Basically want to pick out all the parts. You can go a bit of edge highlight here and there to feel out if we are going in the right direction, and I'm telling you, we are going a real good direction, you guys, okay? So don't worry about that. After you did that, then it's gonna be, you probably guessed it, it's glazy time again. If you sketch out the highlights real nicely, you can get away with glazing, and you are going to achieve a bit rougher look, but that's okay. If you like that, go for that. I'm okay with a little bit of glazing, okay? I don't want to do 36,000 layers, obviously, but we are going to get that. After we done that, then we are going to use our mummy robe. No, it's actually mummy robes, not just one robe. Okay, it's several mummy robes. Paint from Army Painter, and we are going to use that to sketch out our final highlights. See guys, that was it. I mean, not really, because going to do some edge highlighting, but with mummy robes, you put in the middle like Granny's butt cheek. You going then like that, and just a tiny bit of mummy robes. It's more like a heavier glaze, okay? So be gentle with it. Sorry if my unscholarly tongue goes amiss sometimes, but I'm sure you can tell this is not my native language, okay? Now comes the lovely edge highlighting. For edge highlight, if you're familiar with it, you basically use base layer consistency, you use pure white, doesn't matter which white. It is really important to use base layer consistency because you're going to have a bad time if you try to edge highlight with a little bit more diluted paint. Okay, it's not gonna catch the edges, and we are painting SEMA miniature, so it's barely have any edges, to be honest, but that's okay. Try to angle the brush, you know? It's like, here is the edge, and here is the paintbrush, and you go so smoothly like this. Smoothly like this. So smooth. Okay? Okay. Oh, and we do go back to add some nice and crispy secondary highlights, because that's going to stick out and it will like that. Okay, so it's administrative gray again, and it's real good, so do it. Now we are going to go over the rivets with that base coat, which is dark Reaper, to add some definition to the rivets. If you do not care about these little rivets, you know, it's gonna look bad. So we need to highlight them, and we're going to do a tiny dot with administrative gray and another tiny dot to an upper part with mummy robes. After you do that, it's gonna be so nice, like Granny's nipples, you know? It's shiny, it's firm. It's good for you. You go all over the leather parts with Rhinox hide. Try not to miss anything, like I did. Double check if you must. If you do that, the first highlight of the leather part's going to be Dumbo Brown. Again, stippling. We are going for a roughed, used, beaten up leather effect, you know. No glazing, zero glazing, no Mickey Mouse, okay? After that, we are using a mix of Dumbo Brown and Sunny Skin Tone to a 70-30%. Continue to do this stippling motion. As you see, this is not really a base layer consistency, but that's okay. It's going to blend in nicely. And we continue the whole process. It's stippling again with a lighter consistency. You can go full base coat, but it's a really light color, and our main base coat was Rhinox hide, so it's going to stick out a little bit much if you go with full base layer consistency. Okay, it's perfectly fine if your layers doesn't really cover all the time to the maximum opacity. Okay. Oh, and we do all these same steps and all the same colors for the shield part. Okay. This is a rough texture, so you are not stippling here. You just try to follow the edges of the wooden planks that makes up the shield, you know. Alright, now we are going to paint the face. So nice. With Bugman's glue, we're going to pick out all the nose area, this upper mouth area, the cheeks, jawline, the chin, and the ears. Don't forget about the ears. After that, we're going to blend it with some glazing. We are going to pick out the inside of the mouth. We are using Verbarel's red for this, and paint the teeth administratum gray. Okay, and after you painted administratum gray on the teeth, you pick out tiny little dots or stripes with mummy robes. You don't go full white with the teeth, it's going to look silly. It's not a dentist commercial or a toothpaste commercial, okay? You know, no Mickey Mouse, please, okay? We have some off-white on our brush. We are going to paint the nice little eyeballs, okay? After the eyes done, Cadian flesh tone, smaller surfaces picked out for highlight, but we are painting the same thing, all right? Just bit smaller. And again, you guys, you pick out the upper mouth part, just a little bit smaller section of it, all right? The cheeks, the ears, we are doing all the same steps, but with smaller sections, all right? We don't want to cover the whole surface of our Bugman's glue. Okay, and of course we will glaze that layer as well. The next highlight color will be 50-50 mix of elven flesh and Cadian flesh tone. With this mixture, we're going to add some focus to the face, because it has yellow in it. It's going to like glow a little bit, you know? Yellow usually makes that. It's interesting. We will do the same steps over his body. Okay, to do his war paint, we are going to cover his upper head part with black, and after that we using the administratum gray to paint this skunk hair stripe. We will highlight the forehead with Skaven Blight Dinge and some mechanical standard gray. Don't go Mickey Mouse with the forehead colors. We don't want to be super bright. After all, it's black war paint. Our final highlight to the face will be mummy robes, but only used in a glaze layer consistency, okay? For the bow part, we are using Dumbo Brown. As you can see, I painted Rhinox hide, but I was like, now this is going to be too dark. I want to get something brighter. So Dumbo Brown for the base coat. For the metal parts, we use mechanical standard gray. For the first highlight of the bow, it's going to be Jokara orange and a mix of Dumbo Brown, 50-50, no Mickey Mouse. And we will cover 70% of the bow with this color. And after that, you go in with full Jokara orange, you glaze up between the layers, same consistency with the armor, and then we go to the metal parts of the bow. We highlight the mechanical standard gray with administratum gray, and after that we are going to use some mummy robes. For the edges, nothing crazy here, again, same glazing, same layers, that's basically it. Basically our bow is done, okay? We're nearly done with the whole miniature, so we're happy, you know, this is good. Okay guys, we are painting the hair and the ponytail. A Centaur got a ponytail. Do you see how funny this is? This is ridiculous. Using again Skaven Blight Dinge, you don't have to use certain difference gray for certain different parts. It's just going to unify the paint job a little bit better, okay? Now it's something smart to do. After the base coat, we are going to use mechanical standard gray and a little bit for the final highlight, but only a tiny bit, administratum gray. Keep in mind that we are painting black, okay? We don't want to cover the whole surface with Skaven Blight Dinge. We leave out parts to be pure black. there are no really black color in nature if you look at it, because if you go into a shelter without light, yeah, that's black, but you know, it's basically the absence of light to see black. So you paint dark gray when you paint black, okay? And now a little bit of freehand time, okay? It's going to be so nice. We are using Flash for the base color of this snake symbol. Try to be careful because you don't want to redo the whole shield, you know? If you want to skip this part, obviously do it if you are not really comfortable with freehanding. Neither am I, but I tried it. It turned out, I guess, okay. After the base coat, we use the Flash with scan stick green. It's a lighter and colder green, and try to focus to pick up the upper parts of the snake's body, okay? We don't want to smooth this out, okay? This is no Mickey Mouse, okay? After that, we go full scan stick green, again, picking up the upper parts of the snake body, maybe a little bit of contour, you know? Not much, nothing crazy here, no Mickey Mouse, but try to follow the wall flash line, because if you go out of it, it's going to look a bit more silly. But it's up to you how you want to paint it. You can paint, it's freehand, you know, you don't have to do the same thing as the box art, you know. Now we're finishing all the belt buckles with the same process as we did with the bow. Mechanical standard gray for the base coat, then we go administratum gray and some mummy robes. But we don't do any glazes here because these are tiny parts. Really doesn't make a lot of sense to glaze this. So all the belt buckles, the sword sheaths, sword handles, and stuff like that, okay? Okay, now we do some red parts like the sword handles and this leather on his forearm. I thought it's going to be nice if it's a little bit red. It's the same process, word barrels red for the base coat. After that we go in with some Evil Sun's Scarlet, which is a really vibrant, really nice red color. Okay, lastly we do the hair rubber parts in his ponytail and his tail. And for that we are only using some Dumble Brown and a little bit of Bugman's Glow for the highlight. And this is our finished miniature. It looks nice. I'm happy with it, you know. It's smooth. It's not perfect, but for gaming, I mean, it's pretty much okay. So, guys, if any one of you follow this tutorial, which is, I'm guessing it at least going to be like 2 people, send the results to me on Instagram. I would be really happy to see them, okay? I hope the rest of your day will go smoothly as a granny's butt cheek, okay? Now guys, see you in the next one.